Yo, welcome to
Yo,
Show Boys. Good evening, everyone. This is the podcast where we talk for 1 hour for every 30 minutes of something you watch. Um, that's definitely the place to head right after you watch anything. Just come here and we'll talk your ear off about it.
yes, we will.
If we're even talking about it. Jordan always says that we are non-topical, or we should try to be more current in our topics. But what could be more current than what we're talking about tonight, Dad?
Oh, that's right.
Absolutely nothing, because the most current thing possible is our March Madness tournament,
That's right.
and it starts next week, March 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're gonna catch up this evening on what we've been watching, what we've been playing. I know Dad's been watching stuff that's in the tournament,
Yes, I
getting
have.
getting all sharp for his perhaps debates. He might have to debate one of these shows, and the Final Four, the championship round. Should you make it that far?
Whew.
I don't
Kind of,
know.
kind of nervous,
It's gonna be spicy. Gonna be
dude. I've
super
got some
spicy.
pretty heavy hitters on my division. I'm pretty pumped.
All our patron members, we did a behind the scenes episode of our draft picks, of our draft process,
Yes.
because me, you, Mike, and Chad, we drafted from all 64 shows. Is that how that works? Yeah,
Yeah.
64 shows, and we built our divisions and just add a little bit of, I guess, competitiveness to it, and to
Yeah.
simulate divisions that normally would exist in a basketball bracket. I think it worked out really well.
Well, we combined, the whole NFL football draft and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that was really fun because Mike, I think he kicked himself the most because he was holding out for a certain show, and we all scooped him up real quick, and then he was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I love that he fell into the same pitfall that he admitted he falls into for actual drafts. And he
Fantasy,
just
yeah.
carried that over into a completely different realm of a draft, and that's just shows. But
Still, I mean, he's got some pretty heavy hitters in his
yeah,
division too, but he would have had more if he would have been on it.
yeah, yeah. I was surprised some of the things he let slip.
Yeah.
I would have snagged the Chosen if he didn't jump on that.
I'm
He's
really
lucky.
happy. I'm really happy he got Bridgerton though.
Yeah,
I can't wait for him to have to debate for that one.
I know. There's a lot of good ones that. Well, I don't think he has to debate for that one. That one's not going to make it far, right? Knock on wood.
You never know.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there is the round one poll, which we'll drop in chat. The link to that, and you can also head over to our website. It's on there too. You can get all the details about the March Madness tournament. And yeah, be sure to. It's just a Google form. You can go through all the matches and vote for your winners. And
Yep.
We'll definitely take those into account when we decide the round one winners.
Yes.
But they will also work as the tiebreaker if we
Right.
cannot decide between the four of us.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't see us getting to that point, but it'll be interesting if we do, because some nail biters,
I mean, yeah, but I kind of like that because it kind of makes the poll both valuable and weighted, but not at the same time, because it's
Right.
it's not unless we have a tie. We may not have any ties, but if we do, all of a sudden the poll means everything.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I remember we did our poll reaction video, our Patreon video.
Mm-hmm.
There are some shockers for sure. I'm trying to remember which one. I wasn't surprised by Stranger Things in Yellowstone.
Right.
Maybe it was Letterkenny and Jack Ryan.
Yeah, I think those ones were. I think those have been close the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely ones that you're should have been a blowout or shouldn't have been.
Right.
But mostly everything was in par. I think we had the right amount of upsets. It's just crazy how it simulates an actual sports tournament, because we had about the same number of upsets. You always have one or two.
Yep. It very much feels like the whole stress and anxiety of having an NCAA bracket, and you're like, oh, come on. You know, like it's down to the wire, and it's an upset.
The actual wire.
Yes, the actual wire.
Too bad. In our next, well, and that's another thing that we should preface heavily is that there are some that squeak by this rule because they're on the fence, but the rule is streaming service originals, right? So it's
Right.
really kind of like a 2015 forward thing.
Mhm.
So a lot of shows that like ride that line were tough. Some are arguably shouldn't be in there. Some we definitely kicked out for like probably a later tournament. So The Wire, for example, is not in there. HBO got the hard end of that because they've tried to move in a streaming service for
Yeah.
better part of a decade and a half, whereas everyone else is a little bit more fresh on the scene.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Netflix has been around for a long time, but they haven't really had original content
I mean,
for
it
as long
was
as they've been around.
started with Stranger Things, right? Wasn't that
No,
their?
Orange is the New Black was their first original series,
That's right. That's right.
and that was a big hit.
It was.
Um,
It's huge.
Was
People
that?
loved it.
There's definitely a recency thing with this one. We definitely went through like a lot of recent shows,
Hmm.
and that's kind of one thing I like about it is a lot of recent new shows. So um, it will bring a lot of awareness to just a ton of newer shows that people should watch versus all the classics that everyone's like you have to watch.
Right. Well, I mean, like for me, like I hadn't heard of most of these shows until we started going through them.
Mhm.
And Chad was the same way. He's like, I don't even know most of the people or most of the shows on
Yeah.
my division. So what I'm trying to go through all of them and well, not all of them because that's a lot of TV. So like Bosch, for example, 2014. So that's pretty early.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the earliest one I saw. So it's like right on that line of the
Mhm.
2015, like you said.
Yeah. But I think that leaves room to do this again, build out a different group of shows, right? Like
Oh, because there will be a ton more.
yeah. And they don't have to be new ones. We could go like oldies and goodies only.
Classics.
Yeah. And I think it would be nice to like gather people's submissions for it. That would be cool because then it would be a real big like
That would
kind
be
of like
cool.
audience poll. Like that way everyone kind of has a representation in it.
Yeah.
Because that's been a common thing is that a lot of people have been like, I haven't seen a ton of these shows, which is fine.
What we could do is we could do like The Voice type thing where we have to turn our chairs around and audience members will bring up a show and we'll turn around for it and we'll have to like fight each other to get that show.
This is to even build the draft.
Yeah.
The draft roster.
Yeah.
It could work.
Maybe.
We'd have to think about that. Maybe on like the third one. I don't
Right.
want to do that for the second one.
Once we get it down a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So we're super excited for March Madness. It's
so
gonna be
excited.
so fun.
So
all
excited.
March, 5 episodes all throughout March. We're gonna be burned out. We're just gonna shut down the podcast after that.
We're gonna have to take
April
like,
off.
Yeah.
Have a long Easter break session.
Yep.
Come back in May. But
yeah.
We were going to talk about something else tonight, but due to some absences from the screen, as you can see, we don't have a Chad, we don't have a Mike, and
Right.
Dad is out from behind the curtain, which is good. It can, we can have a Nick Dad chill session.
Yeah. The last time we did this, it was a great time.
Man, what was that?
That was we were talking about the Santa Clauses.
Oh, that's right. We went through
Yeah.
all the Santa Clauses.
Yep.
That was fun.
It was a good time.
Yeah. But we were gonna, we'll save this topic for another time, but we're gonna talk about like audience reviews versus critic reviews, right? Kind of break that down. Because I think that's just a cool topic. Because everyone now kind of these days has an opinion about those. Either they don't care about either or they care about one versus the other.
Yeah.
Or I think a lot of people say they don't care, but they do care because existing impacts impacts, a little bit of you and your
It does.
opinion of a movie.
It does.
Or they have the opposite effect. Critics said it sucked. I'm gonna go watch it. No.
That's me.
Yeah.
uh,
We'll
I'm
save that for another night.
Yep.
For sure.
for sure.
Because I'm sure. I bet Chad would have the spiciest opinions on that topic. Because he would go
would agree
gaming
with
with
you.
it, which would be fair. Gaming shows, movies all suffer from the same thing on that front.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, future state. And I'm leaning into the comment Mike made, and where he was like, we'll have a chill episode before March, and that's this. This is that chill episode.
We are the chill episode.
We are the chill episode. But we can't chill and not thank our top tier patrons.
That's right.
Yusuf H, Bim, and Joe C. Every time Mike says that, I think of Joe to C. So, or JC, Kid Rock's little mini man. That's what I think whenever Mike says it, because the way he says it so quickly. But yeah, you guys are great. Thank you for being top tier patrons. Obviously, everyone head over to our Patreon and sign up. We have a lot of behind the scenes episodes of the March Madness creation, as well as just monthly episodes that drop regularly. Either topics. There's a lot of anime reviews of Chad and his son going through their favorite animes. I should do one. I want to do a Dragon Ball Z episode.
I was just gonna say that. You totally should. That'd be.
I don't know how. I need someone that has also seen Dragon Ball Z, so maybe BioSiv would be a good pickup for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know where to start, because I'm rewatching Dragon Ball. Speaking of what I'm watching, I'm rewatching Dragon Ball, and I'm on episode 50 of like 200, 300. I forget how many episodes there are.
Wow.
And then there's like 500 episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
So how long are the episodes?
20 minutes.
Oh, you can burn through those.
Oh yeah. You can knock out a ton there. And Dragon Ball 2, because it's a late 80s anime, and it's kind of really good background. Like I can have it on while I work, because you just need to kind of glance over to kind of like follow along or just listen to what's happening.
Right.
So it's actually good, like while you work, kind of in the background playing. Kind of like a Friends. It's like a Friends of anime, where it can just be on in the background, or like The Office for people.
Okay, yeah.
You don't got to pay attention to it, but you know what's happening.
You've seen it enough that you get the gist of it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely enjoying that, and it also is like a good wind down before bed. Because speaking of what I'm playing, so I bought Age of Empires 4. You
did.
Yeah. I was bad and bought it was 43% off, so that's how I justify it.
I mean, you got to jump on those deals.
Yeah, but that game really kind of like racks my brain before, like it really gets my brain cooking, and then like I need something to cool it off before I can even go to sleep. The one night I didn't, because I was up way too late and I couldn't stay up any longer, because I just had to straight go to bed. But I probably should have watched like an episode 2 of Dragon Ball to like wind down.
Yeah. That's you got to have that wind down. You just won't sleep.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like it was like an hour later, and I kind of went to sleep. I think it was no good. But Age of Empires 4 is insanely good. Insanely good. They have these intensely high quality like videos with as you go through the campaign that are relevant to kind of like the time period and what's going on in the campaign. But they're like better than History Channel quality, like documentary video clips that are like either 5 or 10 minutes long. Like the one was just talking about how castles are built, and like there's this place in France where they're legit building a castle, like how they would have done it back in like 1000 AD, all by hand, all the same tools. And it's like a 25-year project. So like, it was like a 10-minute video on that. They talk about crossbows, but it's super, super good. Just, and the game's just so clean and polished, and it's like a really nice like modern version of the classic Age of Empires experience.
Yeah. Mike
Get it,
said,
boys.
"Get it, boys."
Boys. You get it, Michael. I also been watching or playing Age of Empires 2 because I have some friends that have been they are deep into the multiplayer on
Yeah.
it, which is a lot of fun. It plays a lot like
Warcraft, StarCraft,
StarCraft. A lot like
StarCraft.
StarCraft.
Oh,
It's that not quite like StarCraft. StarCraft's like crazy, but same idea. Like just build up your base, collect those resources, and just crush people. Crush people. Now that's the problem is the multiplayer because even like the campaigns are pretty long. The campaign missions are pretty long. Like they're always like good 30 minutes to an hour, depending on like how you're playing. But the online matches can be even more unknowingly long.
I believe that. Yeah.
So if like you start one at like 11 o'clock at night, there's a good chance like it's gonna be like 12:30. You know, I mean, obviously if you play against ridiculous people and get crushed right away, but
Right.
if you kind of play within all people and that's it just takes so much time though in those games to even get to certain points because you have to collect resources and
Yeah.
build up. Like there's
Yeah.
just stuff you have to do and that it takes time.
Well, that's like with StarCraft. Jordan and I played that years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we would spend like all freaking night playing it. There was this one map where you're familiar with the game, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
he'd usually go the Terran race, and I'd be Protoss, and like there would be waves and waves of Zerg that would come. So we'd have like 5 minutes to kind of hurry up and build up our resources, build up our stuff, get troops and stuff, and defend. And we were cool, and we didn't need anybody else, so it was just the two of us, and we'd get slaughtered instantly. But I know what you mean, like the 3v3, or like everyone's got a base, like if
Yeah.
it's all like, or even a team based or whatever. Oh, it's madness, but it's so much fun.
Yeah,
So
we
much fun.
were doing team based and there were 6 of us and then 2 AI.
Okay. Yep.
So huge map. So that's the other thing. Like the first map was way too big. So like the time to even get anywhere was way too long.
Yeah. That's
was
why I
it?
like StarCraft maps, because they're like,
Yeah,
they're big but not too big.
right.
Like it doesn't take you 5 years to get to the enemy base. It might take a while trying to find every single base. Like you're looking for the last opponent left, and it's like you got to search the whole map. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time.
That's what I kept doing. I kept packing up my town and like moving it as it was. We lost the first one, but I just kept like moving it, and then I was doing like some decoy ones where it's like, yep, that's just a fake one.
Yeah.
It's just good fun, and it's just crazy that like there's a big community of people that just swear by Age of Empires 2 multiplayer like being the best out of all 4 of them, even like the one that came out in 2021, Age of Empires 4. But there's a lot of people that say Age of Empires 4 is just a very good culmination of everything about the franchise. So I'll probably still play both.
Well, I was gonna say, if you have 2, how much is 2 right now?
They were all on sale this week. 2 Definitive Edition should be like $20 all the time.
Oh, I might have to get that.
$20 all the time.
Pick that up.
Yeah, because that's just fun. And I never really played multiplayer like back in the day on that. I was just like a single player.
Yeah. Campaign.
Town builder campaign. I love the campaigns just because they're like history books.
Yeah.
So getting in the multiplayer, like I just have to rewire my brain a little bit where it's just like don't care where you place things and
got to build and go.
yeah. Getting the right ratio of resource spending, things like that. So that's been a weird random shift in my gaming plans Meanwhile, my PS5 has like 5 RPG games I need to play desperately.
You know, the list just keeps growing.
Yeah, I guess my only like recourse right now is that I don't buy games ever at full price, so
Right.
everything's bought on like discount. Ever since that fateful Andromeda Mass Effect last game I paid full price for at launch. Never again. Never again.
Never again.
I played a lot of that game though, just for the pure fact that I did pay full price at launch for it. So never again. So all those RPGs are sitting on steep discounts, most of them.
Yeah. That's smart.
Last of Us Part 2's on there. I haven't started that. Horizon's sitting on there now.
Yeah.
Need to play that. Need to finish Red Dead. I feel like I'm not very far in it though, but that's just a hike.
Yeah.
So many. I did finish Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, the main story. So I went all the way through the main story. So that was a nice accomplishment.
Yeah.
Actually finished the game. It would be nice to platinum it.
I have not been one to go for that, platinuming games.
I did it on the first Horizon Zero Dawn. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it kind of, for me, it kind of takes away from the story because you're trying to do extra stuff. Like, I don't know. I just never really thought about it.
I think if I enjoy, especially if it's a big open world RPG, if I enjoy it, I like maxing along the way through the story. So I'm always just like as decked out as I can be in terms of level, gear, all that stuff. I like just having the best stuff. So just doing that already like gets me closer to just knocking things completely out. But Horizon was the case where I did do a lot of that along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But that game was so much fun that I had no problem finishing the story and then just finishing everything else.
Yeah.
Because that world is just so much fun to explore and just do stuff in. It's so silky smooth and the mechanics don't get old.
So amazing. So amazing.
Yeah.
I also have that one sitting on my PlayStation. The
first one?
No, the second one. The first one's amazing. I love everything about it.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
It's a great first entry for a franchise, which
now
pulling off a second one, it'll be around for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm anxious to see what they have next.
Yeah. I'm still anxious to play the second one, period.
Right.
But yeah. What have you been watching or playing?
So, I'll start with my playing because it's a shorter list. I've been playing Dead Space, the remake. Actually been streaming it. I actually have not recently. It's been a while. I'll have to get back to that.
Shout out Showboys Gaming.
Shout out. That game, it just takes me back because that's like one of the few games that I played and like I had to finish it. Like I just, no matter what, I had to get through it. Like, and there was my first playthrough of it, I got stuck at one point and I shelved it for a while.
The original or the remaster?
The original.
Yeah. The original.
And then and then I came back to it and I beat it and I loved the story. It was so good. And then played the second. I didn't beat that one. And I played a little bit of the third one, which wasn't that great. But yeah, one of the few games that I played that I beat and I just loved every part of it. And it was consistent throughout. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I can't wait to get into that. But I, as you know, I was very bummed to find out it's $70. So that will be a 2024 game for me.
That's rough. Unless it goes on sale before then.
I haven't played it I've never completed that game. I started playing it last year, like on Steam. But then like right around that time were the rumors that like the remaster would be coming. So me and Chad were like, we'll just wait.
Yeah.
Um,
So you did play a little bit of it.
yeah, I have like an hour in it, hour and a half.
Not very much. Maybe like the first chapter.
Yeah. But one of the big blockers was like I called a bug, but like freaking like door would not like open or something, or I couldn't. Either I was too bad, I sucked and I couldn't do it, or I swear it was like there was something on my like in the game that was not working for me.
It was buggy.
Yeah, there was something bugged out, and I was using a controller. I was trying to do the controller with it, and it might have been that too, because I was trying to play with a controller on my PC. So something might not have been translating through Steam or something.
So I'm playing it with mouse and keyboard, which is a huge, like a crazy change from a controller, because that's how I played it on the original, obviously, on Xbox. And it's so different playing that type of game with a mouse and keyboard. That's just not my gaming style, but it's
better.
It's not bad. Like you have to get used to where like certain functions are. Like you have to use different letters of the keyboard, like C and whatever, and like I keep forgetting which one does what.
Yeah.
Like while I'm streaming, and I'm like, oh crap, that wasn't what I wanted to do, and then I'm out of stasis and I can't do anything. So it's definitely a learning curve switching like that, because controller is so natural to me.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like everything is just right there. There's not really a lot of guessing. I mean, because a lot of these games have the same functions that most shooters do, so it's hard to get too jumbled with it.
Yeah, I mean, for as many PC games that I play, like I've gotten obviously a lot better over years, but I remember when I first like started playing with like the WASD, especially with like World of Warcraft, was I have like drift. So like even like I feel like I have drift in my hand. Like it just drifts around, and like I lose. Like say like I move into a certain part of the game where I'm using certain buttons a lot. My hand like naturally just drifts to where it's no longer in the perfect position to like quickly hit a different combination of keys. So like all of a sudden I'm hitting the wrong key because my hand is like drifted out of place, and then I have to like check myself. But like Valheim though, like it's really all muscle memory for the most part. Occasionally I hit the wrong thing, but even then like I drift and I'm hitting the wrong keys. But
so you play mostly with controller then on PC, or all the time?
No, so basically what I do is where I play certain types of games. Basically, so if I play certain types of games on the PC, that basically you have to use like a controller.
Age of Empires, or
Age of Empires, strategy games. But a bunch of my friends were playing that on Xbox because now that's on Xbox. Like I have no idea how you play Age of Empires on the Xbox. No idea. And maybe that's why I was like decently good for never playing multiplayer, and then I was able to like at least keep up and not be complete trash. So it's just in my mind, you don't play Age of Empires with a controller. So those type of games, strategy games, survival games, that's on here. Games that where you build. So like I wouldn't understand like Fortnite. I don't get like the building process with a controller, nor like Valheim with a controller. So like those are my PC games, and then my PS4 games or PS5 games are the RPGs, the ones that Dead Space, right? Red Dead, all that. But then first person shooters, that's the one where it's like I just swear by controllers and first person shooters, because I like the slower, like the more controlledness of a controller versus like the like keyboard mouse, like you can just turn around in a second.
The mouse, it like gives me a headache with the way the mouse is your head, and you're like whoop. It's your head's gonna roll off your body.
But
with the controller, it's definitely it feels better and more natural.
More natural. That's my biggest thing is like I'm playing a first person shooter. I want to not be able to be like some sort of
Ninja,
not I mean, I just should not be able to turn 180 in like a split of a second.
right?
So yeah, so I separate where I play certain games based on the style that I enjoy those games with. So like I had The Witcher on like Steam because it was like $5 or whatever. And I played like 7 hours there, but like that just did not click to me. Cause to me, that game is too complicated for me to learn through a keyboard and all the shortcuts and all the buttons. Now that one
Yeah,
I wildly because there were so many things you have to utilize in that. I quickly had way too much drift and I was always hitting the wrong keys. So like
yeah,
for that game, I need a controller to like know definitively like what everything does and like where everything's at.
yeah. Well, like the way I feel about a controller is it's designed for your hands.
Yep.
Obviously, your hands kind of mold to it, and it just works. Like your fingers are where they need to be, and it's quick. I mean, we grew up playing video games, so like we just adapt to
Hmm.
these new controllers or whatever. And the thing that pisses me off though is like Nintendo is so backwards with their controller, like the A and B button.
Yes.
It's I'm like, oh my gosh. So like I'm switching from literally switching from the PlayStation controller to a Switch controller, and it's a headache.
I think I kind of get it because theirs is the A, which is all the way to the right,
Yeah.
and B is at the bottom of
Yeah.
that. So it's kind of makes sense that it's like A is to like advance, like almost like turn the page
Yeah.
next,
Yeah.
accept, and then B is like kind of back and down. So like I get it, but also I get the PlayStation where it's like X is like the closest
It's the
almost.
closest. Yeah. Yeah. And
It's like
Xbox too.
confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Xbox literally has A down
Yeah.
at the bottom.
A.
They're literally backwards from
Yeah.
Nintendo, man.
Nintendo.
They gotta be different.
They gotta be different. I mean, hey, they're doing something right.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just
It's just frustrating switching
different.
from one
Oh
console
yeah.
to the other.
I forget what was it? Oh, I was trying to switch between The Witcher and Assassin's Creed. Those are two different those are two games that's hard to play like
Really?
back to back or like alternating
Yeah.
because the controls are wildly different. One, Assassin's Creed's a lot more streamlined and like simplistic
Mhm.
in terms of everything, whereas like The Witcher is very specific and like more complicated.
Ah,
So yeah, the play styles and the mechanics of those games just do not mesh well. Like you have to relearn. It's bad for your brain.
that's crazy.
Switching between those
I
two
never
games.
I never played The Witcher, but I do like Assassin's Creed.
Love me some Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Trying
Good
to
stuff.
platinum Origins. Trying.
Yeah.
I think I'm
I would
close actually.
I would like to
should do
play
that.
through those. I think I've only played 1, 2, and 3.
Origins, I swear, is the best one.
Yeah.
Yep. It is the best one. And Chad agrees with me.
Okay. I'm writing that down.
Yes. Origins. It was the first one where they changed the format from like more of the linear RPG.
Okay.
Well, how do I want to say this? Because like three and like Brotherhood, like those were pretty open city. I would call that like open world in a city.
Yeah. Yep.
With heavy platformer
Mhm.
mechanics, whereas like Origins started the true like open world RPG version of it, much like how God of War shifted to that format recently. And then Odyssey and Valhalla just like double down on the open world. Just this is a massive game, and there is just infinite number of things to do.
That's
So
awesome.
Origins is good, and the biggest thing that I like that Chad had to say about that game after playing it was like he's like, dude, this thing looks like it came out yesterday. Like it's a gorgeous game. for
Wow.
being like in the desert. Like it's in Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
and it's absolutely gorgeous for a game that's mostly like tan, sand.
Sand.
I hate sand. Gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. Um, so let me see if there's anything else I've been playing. I don't think there is. No. So that just leaves my what's watching.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I have some things on what's watching, but I think I mentioned one, didn't I?
I
Completely forgot.
I don't know. I think you just did your what's playing.
Oh, I was talking about Dragon Ball. That's what I was doing.
That's right. That's right. To wind down. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Dragon Ball to wind down.
So do you have any more on your list of what's watching?
I do actually. I have a few more.
Cool.
And some of this is a little bit older because it's been a little while since we've done a what's watching. But watching Bad Batch season 2,
Nice.
it's a good. Um,
It looks good.
yeah, it's good. It's. I was talking to someone about this, but like they're saying how, like it's funny how George Lucas, like his writing style, and how kind of like brief it is. Like, he writes very like kind of like an opera, like it's a space opera, right? Everything's
Yeah.
very kind of dramatic, everything's
Yep.
very punctual. Not a lot of like context is needed. Like he's just like boom, boom, boom. I'm not going to give you a lot of detail on what's going on around that because it doesn't matter because it's just about this. Pay attention right here. Don't
Yep.
pay attention to anything else.
Yeah.
But then then like Dave and John, they come along and write these crazily detailed, opposite end of the spectrum stories
Yeah.
around really everything that George started. So it's just cool to see that. But like, it's just funny because like George at times like wrote the story into like corners where it's like, yeah, you can't really move around that too much. But then, Filoni and Favreau find ways to move around those pieces, but then still tell these like really detailed stories. So I say that because there is like kind of mid-season arc where essentially the like underlying like political or like ethical topic is like clone rights. Like the clones are being phased out of the Imperial Army, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they go back into society. Do you just like what kill them all? Like are they property? Like that's what they're talking about. It's just
Wow.
crazy that this is like kind of the underlying subject matter, like the political tones of this
It's
otherwise like cartoon.
it's crazy. Like, and that's not the only cartoon that has. It's been like more for adults, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got the Bad Batch, Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Joe says Clone Lives Matter.
They sure do.
Yes, they do. We should make that a shirt.
Oh, that should be.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the adult tones, like because they're actually writing it for us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the kids like it, sure, but do they really get it? You know?
Right.
Oh, cool. They're using lightsabers or they're shooting guns. But it's really heavy on the moral compass, those issues.
Yeah, and I had a recent revelation because something that I've been watching a lot of, because my almost 3-year-old son went through a like he's still like we watched a lot of episode 1.
Yeah.
He and rewatching episode 1 through his eyes versus like how I've grown up with episode 1 since I was like 8, um, was really eye opening.
Yeah.
Because episode 1, like it bumps it back up there. I'm like, man, this movie is like awesome because like through his eyes, this movie's like the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Like you can't play any of the rest for him because everything about episode 1, like his brain can like process, right? So you have Jar Jar. He thinks Jar Jar is hilarious. Hilarious. He loves Jar Jar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Jar Jar is funny, like for
Mhm.
like just whatever kind of silly like slap humor he's got going on.
Yeah.
But even the fact that like Anakin's a kid, he like relates to that. He's like flying a ship, he's going
The
fast, blah blah
the
blah. There is,
racing. Yeah.
yeah, there's lightsabers, there's the giant like fish,
Yeah.
right? When they're
Yeah.
going through the middle of Naboo, and like there is just tons and tons of things that are just geared toward kids. But at the same time, that movie gets knocked because everyone was like, "What is George doing?" Because he's writing like it's a movie about like politics and like trade disputes and all that crap. But it's like, yes, it is, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, like the kids don't need to pay attention to any of that because everything else it's filled with makes
Mhm.
up for it. But
Yeah.
I can sit there and be like, yeah, it is a movie about basically like a trade dispute and then like a conspiracy to overthrow the Republic.
Yep. Yeah.
And like all that, there's a little bit there where it's like all political and stuff, but it's padded with like little kid Anakin scenes where
Yep.
it works. So that movie has come like full circle for me. Seeing that, my whole life, and then seeing my son like
Yeah.
get deep into that.
That's pretty cool.
And he loves the pod racers,
Oh,
the
it's
pod
so
race
cool.
scene, because he
I
likes cars and he likes racing. So then, like, he gets that like that's racing, and they're freaking going fast.
Do you remember the game? Was it for the 64? It was the racing game.
Yeah,
I forget what it was called, but I loved that game. It was fun.
there are so many Star Wars games that are just like buried in the recess of my mind where I'd know it if I saw it, and like I know I played it, but what I played it on, if I beat it, all those details are like vanished from my
Yeah,
memory.
right.
Because I remember playing the episode 1 game on the PlayStation. But I would hate to like look it up today and like try to play it because I bet it's like unplayable.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah, and there's like a handful of games maybe that you could go back for pure nostalgia purposes. Like I couldn't just go out and buy an old school Nintendo console just to play everything, but there are a few games that I would like to play
Mm-hmm.
for nostalgia reasons. But yeah, there's games that are just like unplayable. It's ridiculous. It just hurts the brain.
Dark Forces like 1 and 2, which are basically like Doom games, Star Wars Doom games. Just I think bad but good at the same time and
Right.
unplayable. Yeah, I just always remember this like going through the Naboo swamps on that episode 1 game, and then going through Theed, and there was like this part I could not get past, like the AAT tank.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't. Like it was unplayable for my 8-year-old brain or whatever.
Yeah.
Just different weird stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm grateful for how far we've come in video games.
Yeah, I'd like to. Maybe I don't know. They always like to give the golden age away at times. Because I feel like the NES era and like before and like short, like I think before and up to the NES era is somehow like the golden years, just like how sitcoms in the 80s, and somehow I think maybe 20 years from now we can supplant the nostalgia of like the 80s and 90s and like advance the golden era like beyond
Right.
that.
Yeah, because I mean, stuff has a way of coming back around. I don't know, like I like for like 80s sitcoms, like they're designing shows now kind of loosely around. I don't know. Things happen to come back into trends. Trends kind of go through their cycles and come back and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we play like pixelated, low texture games all the time. Why?
Yeah.
Because not the graphics, but the content of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what made games, fun back then was not because they looked great. They did look great at the time.
Right. It'll never get better than this.
God,
I remember saying that.
are we done saying that? Because I think at this point we know it will get It will get strangely and like probably scary better.
I mean, I know better now.
Yeah.
Just because you'd have to be living under a rock to say that it'll never get better than what it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of, I remember probably in my teens, or maybe a little bit after that, saying how awesome it would be to like play a game where, we'd be in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here we are. And like, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get more realistic. It's going to continually evolve and be mind blowing.
I'm trying to Neo into like a training simulation.
That would be so freaking sick. Like my buddy from work went up to Cleveland. They've got this huge VR place. I can't remember what it's called, but they're like, whole like suits and a gun and playing with a group of people. It's like a zombie.
I'm picturing a laser tag place, but all VR headsets and like boxes.
Yeah, because they moved around like this whole warehouse. Like, that's freaking amazing. We need one of those down here in Canton.
So were they physically using the space of the warehouse, and what was simulated in their headsets was just like an
barriers?
Augmented reality over it, kind of? Or just like
they had the goggles on. It wasn't.
Yeah.
They knew their bounds. Like everything was kind of marked within the headsets, I guess.
Yep.
So their boundaries were made. But then
the point is they can actually walk.
Oh yeah, they could walk. Yeah, the way that they described it was really unreal. That's what we're heading towards. Full
Dave and Buster's, but
immersive experience.
Yeah, like big facilities to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I'm picturing is like there's in Clone Wars there's a couple episodes where they're in like the clone training facility, and it's the same like idea as like Tron. Like basically, you're in this space that is very just like plain and blank, and then you augment a landscape or a visualization over it, and it becomes something else somewhere else.
A lot of shows and movies have done that, have shown that. Like Star Trek did it. X-Men, they had that, their training simulation or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, like there was a movie called Surrogates with Bruce Willis, where he was just like hooked up, just laying there, but he controlled. I mean, it wasn't virtual. I guess it kind of was, but he was controlling, I guess, a robot, but in reality, but from his mind. So kind of the same. But dude, that's where we're heading. We're all just going to be laying down in recliners and living out our second life somewhere. Or peripheral. Yeah, we're literally talking about peripheral. Send our consciousnesses into the future.
No, I think the next killer thing to do would be like we have Google Maps, and like all the CDs or all the cities are 3D, right? So if you go into like 3D mode in Google Maps, like it's all there, right? Yeah. So why don't we have like I'm thinking about like Forza Horizon, like those games are huge, right? Where you can drive, like the one is like literally a huge chunk of actual Colorado.
Yeah.
So why don't we just kind of like augment into a game like the actual world where like we could run around outside our neighborhoods, but in a digital space.
Yeah. And
it'd be like near realistic. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because then you could so instead of having like a pretend world full of Pokemon, like you play a game where you're like actually going up to Cleveland without actually leaving your house.
Right. Right.
Something like that, because like, so much of that is already stored data somewhere. Like
Yeah.
just Grand Theft Auto the
Oh,
whole
geez.
world. That would probably make a lot of people upset. There's probably a lot of problems with doing that.
It might get out of hand.
Yeah.
Shooting up random people on the street and running away from the cops.
It's like actually someone walking in game on the street.
Oh,
So
man.
many weird logistics with that concept.
Yeah.
But they're building the data to do that. That's what I think about. Like if it's obviously
sure.
it's probably not gonna be Grand Theft Auto, but like Google has like all that information.
Yeah.
All you need to do is somehow put an engine behind it to allow people to get in there. But these days, especially with like streaming video games,
Yeah.
the hardware becomes less of a issue. Like they wouldn't need to, like, for streaming games, obviously you're using hardware somewhere, right, in a server warehouse or something. But a lot of things with like have you seen Silicon Valley on HBO? You should watch that. It'd be good. But basically they make a video streaming software or like service, and what it does is it actually hijacks people's machines and uses their hardware. So it's also the same idea as like where blockchain has similar concepts too, where it's like a network of hardware that's fueling the system. So you would be able to help fuel like this collective game of everyone playing to like as shared resources to like power such an idea.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah. I think about weird stuff like that.
Hey, that's amazing. That sounds like a really good business plan.
Darn. I won't talk about it anymore.
Giving away your secrets. Stop.
They're not secrets.
No.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I suppose not.
What was I watching with it? Oh, I'll start with Bad Batch.
Bad Batch, yeah.
Yeah, Bad Batch, good show. Season 2's out. Definitely some filler episodes, but the filler episodes are fun. Because the one brings back pod racing.
Oh.
But in a different sense. So basically, if pod racers in episode 1 were Formula 1 racers, that was kind of like their inspiration. This is like crotch rockets, like super bikes racing is what happens in one of the episodes.
That's cool. I could get behind that.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's a good episode. Doesn't advance the story, but it's a good episode.
See that, and those are fun sometimes. Like I can understand the frustration with filler episodes, because it takes away from the drive of the story. But sometimes you need to unwind and kind of gather yourself after like a crazy episode prior to. Sometimes. I don't know.
Well, one, those episodes serve as, like you said, a break. I can unwind, right? But also it allows them to not pack the story episodes with like silly fanfare. Like these are episodes for fans, right? And they're just like nods to different parts of Star Wars. They also just randomly are exploring different parts of this huge universe, right? So it's just cool to see like other stuff happening going on without why dilute the story? Just set the story aside.
Yep.
Just have a quick one-off that just is fun.
Nice little nod to some other stuff.
Yeah, there's a nod to episode 2. One of the characters in it is from episode 2, which was really fun of them to kind of bring back.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely watch Bad Batch.
Yeah, I'm
enjoying that one.
Oh, fun fact for those of you listening and watching, Bad Batch is in Chad's division.
Oh, he picked that one up?
He did.
Good for him.
Yeah.
What's it against?
Raimi. which
I think
is
that I think that was I think just because of the matchup, not because of I was thinking the Bad Batch would have a harder time advancing, but I think it's gonna get away with it because it's just more known than Ramy. But
yeah.
we'll see. Um, some of those Disney shows got to make it far.
We can hope.
I'm voting for the Bad Batch. It's a good show.
I,
Propping that one up.
I think I did.
Go out there and vote. March Madness
Do it.
next week. It's gonna be good.
So what else
Hopefully,
are you
Chad
watching?
and Mike show up. What do we do if they don't show up?
We'll do our matchups, but
And not decide theirs.
we should decide theirs. That's what they get for not showing up.
Right.
And we'll pick all the ones I don't want.
Right. I was gonna say because I was like, if we just pick ours, we could really weight ours to be just like really strong. But if we pick theirs, we could either not pick theirs and just set that aside, or pick theirs and make theirs
Because
really weak.
that'll really work out for us because it would be you and Mike, and then
Yep.
me versus Chad.
Yep.
So if we,
Yeah.
pick our best and pick their worst, it'll be you and me in the championship game. And from there, whatever. But we get there, we're good.
Yeah,
That's
but
the goal.
yeah, we if we both agreed to overthrow the poll, then yeah, we'd be able to do it. Otherwise, the polls decide. All right. But they're probably going to show up
We'll
because
see what happens. They're probably not even watching.
Yep,
We're good.
I think they'll show up next week.
They might.
They'll be there. Let's see here. What else am I watching? Finally finished The Crown. All caught up there.
Nice.
All 5 seasons. We can now watch the Harry and Meghan like Netflix docu-series. My wife is excited to watch that. I want to watch it, but I know I'm just gonna be angry the whole time because I am totally like team the Crown, the royal family. Like
Sure.
like most of the time in The Crown, like I'm just like, man, these heretics, these naysayers, these like why are you trying to take down the crown? Like it's the monarchy.
Yeah. You can't take them out.
Yeah, it's the monarchy. They are nearly divine.
I mean, like, the two of them against this empire, what could you accomplish?
Yeah.
You've got nothing. You don't even have your place or status anymore.
Yeah. In the show, my encapsulation of this series is it's not about like just the royal family. It's like it's a piece, it's a narrative on the passage of time.
Okay.
Because it starts off in like the 50s, right? So and it does flashbacks to like even like World War I and II. And a lot of the undertones and like the narratives and the writing is all about the royal family dealing with time.
Yeah.
Like times change, right? And this is just like a thing that has been there the whole time, right? So it's how do they adapt and like survive and figure out how to be relevant in a constantly changing world. But it does a good job at the same time showing those that kind of suffer under the weight of it, right? So Diana didn't have the greatest run there. Rip. Spoiler, she's still alive at the end of season 5.
Yeah.
They do the pattern seems to be they do 2 seasons with a different set of actors.
Okay.
So they did 1 season with the new set. So there's gonna be 1 more, I imagine, with the next set or with the current set.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry Potter, the mean lady later in the series, she's like the minister. She's in the Ministry of Magic, and she comes in is a teacher. Anyway, she plays the queen. Lots of good actor choices.
Speaking of the queen, I thought she was going to live forever, so she really would have outdone time or adapted to it.
Yeah, nearly
made it.
I mean, it's just crazy how long. And that's the other thing is like her poor son. Like he spent like most of he's like 70 now or whatever. He spent spent nearly his whole life preparing to be king one
Yep.
day.
Yep.
And like your mom just ain't leaving, bro. Like,
come on, mom. When's it gonna be my turn?
yeah. Yeah. They cover a lot. Really good writing, and it's definitely a thinker show. It makes think about things, and we're so used to just barely reflecting on the past like 2 years as a society. Like this is a reflection
Yeah.
of a singular person, really, over the course of was she 90 something?
Yeah.
And she became queen when she was like 20,
20.
21.
She was super young.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a long time.
And I think she knew she was going to be queen from the point of like 9 years old or so when her dad became queen, and the traitor, his brother, abdicated the throne. Unbelievable.
I can't
Absolutely
believe it.
despicable. Unbelievable. He deserved everything he got.
These people, man.
I know. But yeah,
ridiculous.
Crown. It's a good time. Crown's a good time.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun, like political and just like historical tidbits in there. There's like an episode about how this crazy mine collapse, like a landslide from this coal mine in the countryside, and it literally just buried a school of children in like this little mining town, like 80 children, which is like the whole population of children in the town. Just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy, like serious events. And it steps away from, like the Bad Batch, it steps away from like the main story and like tells the stories like little period history lessons,
like little side stories.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy. I probably still won't watch it.
Yep, that sucks. I will try. I'll try to run that one as far as I can. It's in my bracket.
Shout out.
March Madness.
Division Nick.
Decently strong. Not the strongest, but I got some contenders in there.
You got some good ones.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I don't know what my strategy was. I definitely lost some that I wanted. I blame the draft order why I didn't get House of the Dragon, but whatever. That's a good show for Chad to have, at least.
You were trying so hard to trade with him.
Yeah, but that I don't even know. That wouldn't have. I don't think that would have made sense if we started trading. Like that would have just been tough.
It wouldn't have ended. We just would have kept trading.
Problem is going to be if I have to face off against Chad at the end against House of the Dragon. I'll just be like, I give up.
You win. Take the trophy.
This was a short episode. The final. You win, Chad. House of the Dragon.
Episode lasted 5 seconds.
Yep. That. Yep. I'll be like, that one takes the cake. Easy winner.
Easy win.
But yeah, we'll watch that. Nice. That Harry and Meghan thing and see what kind of nonsense they have to say about the crown. Unbelievable. Oh, and then the last thing I've watched is Strange World on Disney. Cartoon show, movie.
Okay.
Pretty good. Pretty cool concept too.
Yeah.
It's about this great adventurer, and they're kind of like their society, this like place is trapped behind these like really big mountains, and like this dad and his son and some other explorers sorry, they want to go over the mountains to find what's beyond them and like bring back treasures or whatever. Well, it's so tough to like get through the mountains or whatever. They make it almost to the other side, but they find this like weird, strange glowing plant. And his son and like all the explorers are like, this is good enough. We're not going to risk our lives and die. Let's take this back. This is pretty cool. Dad keeps going. He's like, no, this sucks. I'm going to explore the whole world. So anyways, this plant is like, has energy. Like it grows and like they're like little energy pods, like kind of like pea pods
Mhm.
if they were electricity, and they revolutionize society with it, and everything runs off of it. And they basically they farm this plant, and it
Wow.
provides great advancements for their people. So that's kind of the premise of it. And then naturally, the sun, right, is like the dawn of this plant because he brought it back, and um, he goes on an adventure
Hmm.
because the plant starts to like die.
Oh.
There's like some crop damage, and like the plant is not thriving anymore, and so they go investigate why that is.
Hmm.
Kind of a little bit of like Journey to the Center of the Earth, Atlantis
Okay.
mashup kind of
Yeah.
thing. Pretty cool concept.
Was it the son that didn't want to keep going, and the dad
Correct.
said,
Correct.
"So let that be a lesson to all you kids out there. Listen to your fathers."
Well, no, if he would have went, he wouldn't have brought the plant back because his dad disappeared,
Oh. Oh.
and he
Then
brought
don't
the
listen.
plant back.
Then don't
Yeah.
listen to your fathers.
Yep. It was the opposite. It was like, don't listen to your father. But it is a father son tale too, because then obviously he has a son, and his son, it's pretty good to watch.
Nice.
Yeah, they got like
Those are always good.
airships and stuff. Like it's cool. It's kind of like a steampunk, but like based around this plant. So it's like kind of like a steampunk type of society
Nice.
mixed with, they got like blimps and like weird like
Yeah.
propulsion vehicles, and then Journey to the Center of Earth
Steam
meets,
powered.
yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, that was a random pickup. Trying to get the kid to watch something other than trying to make sure he keeps finding new things to watch, not
Yeah.
watching the same
Thing
things
like
over and
a
over.
million times.
Except
Yeah,
episode 1, he can watch that as many times as he wants.
sure.
I will not complain about that movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a generation thing, but like my kids do it too. Like they'll just watch the same thing. My older kids won't, unless it's really good. But like the younger ones, oh, even when my older two were younger, they wanted to watch like Frozen like every
Mhm.
single day,
Yeah,
and
he
that's
rotates that one in and out.
just kind of a thing that they do. Like they just rewatch the same thing.
I mean, I always just watch Star Wars and like some like Fox and the Hound and Lion King. Like I watched those were my like rocks as a kid. Lots of Star Wars. Like I basically watch episode like The Empire Strikes Back before bed for like a year straight, probably when I was like 8.
I'm so old.
VHS.
I was gonna say
Just
I'm
static. I wake up in the middle of the night, it's just static.
I'd see the blue screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think when I got a new TV, it became the blue screen.
Yeah.
New TV or new VCR. Something changed there. Yeah. It
It
was
might-
static.
Is that because the VCR shut off after a while?
Yes. And then the TV
'Cause
had no
I-
signal, and it was
and I-
just static.
I
But
think I
only if
had
the
a newer one.
yeah, only if the VCR didn't shut off though. So if the VCR stayed on,
Then it was a blue screen.
yeah,
Not
because
the
then
blue screen of
it
death.
had like the play button in the corner or something to that effect. There was something on the screen.
Yeah.
But it was definitely blue. I did have that at some point because I remember, like, if you looked at my room from my outside, it was just blue, it was just glowing.
Tyrell. Rip.
Blue light.
Blue light.
Stay away from the light. It's so pretty.
This is totally random. I read a theory about Tyrell and the woods.
Okay.
Someone was saying how
Spoiler alert, Mr. Robot.
Oh, I hope you watched it. The blue light was the monitor in Elliot's room. The heart monitor. But there were other colors on the screen. So people were kind of like, why would it be blue?
Oh, just general blue light from any monitor
Yeah.
is what would radiate backwards, I guess, because the colors would be projected forward, and it would just be the general blue light of the monitor coming backwards into the screen. He was behind. Is they saying like he was behind it?
He was looking. Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know.
you're saying Tyrell like reassuming his like because he is like the real Elliot, and that was him coming
Based
back.
based on that theory, yeah. Yeah.
Did Tyrell and Darlene ever meet in the show?
I don't think they did. She talked about him.
Tyrell.
Yeah.
That would be something to review in that theory.
I might have to go back and review that.
Because depending on Tyrell and Darlene's interactions, if any, or references to each other in the show, because obviously the show that we watched is skewed, right? It's not the true representation of what was happening. If there is an absence of those two interacting or referring to each other, I would say that supports that idea. Because she wouldn't understand the concept of Tyrell because Tyrell is just Elliot.
Yeah, there's so much to that show. It's ridiculous. We could go down a rabbit hole. And it'd be very easy to, and I welcome it.
No, we should definitely avoid. Because Mike's seen it 3 times now, and he needs to be there to like keep the like buts in the conversation, like but this and accept that,
right?
Because he knows quite a bit of them. But that's the funny thing about the show, and that's what people get upset about on the Reddit, on the Mr. Robot Reddit, is people will make an argument just based on some of the information,
right?
And it makes total sense, but they're like, "There's all this other stuff you're just ignoring that completely breaks it."
Yeah.
But with that show, you can ignore certain things because you can explain them away based on what you're trying to suggest because they no longer matter because they are not as they seem.
Right. And it's all Elliot's perspective.
Our perspective.
Well, yeah, but he's explaining things or leaving certain things out.
True, but that's the trick though. Is we see other things that he doesn't, which is like really mind bendy. If you want,
right? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's move on because this is gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah. Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Are you watching anything else?
No, okay. I'm not.
All right.
My wife was watching Farmhouse Fab, something like that. It's a HGTV show, but it's like one of the original Teen Moms.
Yeah.
So it's like it's super like,
over the top.
Not over the top, but like it's just a funny combination. Like, so I'm like, HGTV home flipper show. I'm like, who are these new people that have replaced Chip and Joanna and like all the people before them in this long lineage? And she's like, oh, she's one of the original Teen Moms. I'm like, oh, okay. This gets the rabbit hole gets deeper.
The whole cast of Teen Mom is now every like house flipper show.
Yeah. Yeah. One of them is basically like a porn star. One of them thinks they're Kim Kardashian. This one's a house flipper. There's like a weird metaverse around like all the Teen Moms.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It's a conspiracy.
The Teen Mom conspiracy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
What have you been watching? I feel like you've been watching a lot of things. You've been trying to assault this catalog of shows we're about to talk about to have some sort of edge. I'm just going to make sure everything you've been watching gets like voted out in round 1.
What? Get out of here. Well, I've been trying to watch a little bit of everything just so I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Just a little bit, So, I mean, I saw, I'd say a handful of the shows in my division. But there were a few that I was like, I should probably watch these because they're like higher up in my rankings. So I watched Severance, which is my number 1. Loved it. Started watching Letterkenny.
Instantly clicked.
Instantly clicked with me. I need to keep watching it because it's just a good laugh, like Wayne is hilarious. I can't say enough good things about him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at the end of episode 1. And he beats up his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, throws him in the
Yes.
trash.
Yeah.
Um,
He has a code of honor.
well, and was it that he used to be a fighter
Yep.
of sorts,
I
and he
think
kind of like stepped back from it or whatever.
Yeah, I think he just used to be a general, just like roughhouser. Like he would fight people. Like it's it's
Okay.
just like what he did.
So like bar fights would be his thing.
Yeah, like his thing was just like whooping people's ass. And now he tries to kind of keep that on a leash.
Yeah, yeah. And then everyone's saying how different he is and how like uptight or like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
great
then
dynamics in that show.
yeah, I'm
Great
pretty
dynamic.
excited. I'm pretty excited to like continue that.
I should finish that. My problem is like I stopped watching it and I feel like I need to like go back so far to like re-pick up the vibe, what was going on. I just don't know if I can just like pick up exactly where I left off and like be fully into it. Not that there's a
Yeah,
story, but there's like just evolutions of things that you kind of need
sure.
to keep in mind.
Key
Or not.
moments.
Or I was like, yeah, I was watch it.
Just
I
pick
don't
up
know.
from some random
Overthinking it possibly.
place. So there's that. I actually started watching Only Murders in the Building,
Mm.
which is a Hulu original. It's got Martin Short, Martin Sheen, and Selena Gomez in it.
Wow. Martin Sheen, he's alive.
No, not Martin Sheen. Martin Short.
Oh, okay.
I think it's hilarious. Like they're 3 strangers. Someone dies in their apartment. They live in an apartment in New York.
Spoiler.
And they're it's funny because they're all into the same true crime podcast, and they're all strangers, but then they discover that they all like the same podcast, and then they're all about each
Yeah.
other, and then they want to solve this case that happened in their building, so they're like sneaking around trying to figure out, get clues and whatever.
So it's funny.
It's funny. It's very funny. But they all have a secret, and they're kind of like reserved, and like they don't really trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I only watched the first 2 episodes of that, but it looks pretty good.
That's not a bad strategy because, like, I wonder how many people employ that where they just watch like a little bit of everything and then they generally kind of know 10% about everything. Experts on nothing.
I would say you get a good vibe of how it's going to go. Or if the show's good and the writers are good, they'll let you know they're setting up this, thing for you, and you know where it's going to go. Like you have an idea.
Yeah.
The feel, the vibe, and all that. So I get a pretty good idea. They're going to be solving true crimes together, in their building. I mean, it's in the title, so
yeah,
pretty straightforward. I was watching Mindhunter.
Okay.
I
watched 3 episodes of that.
I got around 3 or 4, and I couldn't watch anymore. I mean, it was interesting, but I was waiting.
Does that one cover like the infancy of forensic science and like the FBI and stuff, or am I thinking of something else?
Like criminal psychology. Like
yes, yeah, the infancy of like that concept.
Mhm.
Is Michael Shannon in that?
That sounds right. I'll look it up real fast. But like, I could appreciate it. I do not see his name.
I might be thinking of Michael Shannon is in he plays a similar kind of role in the Waco drama series miniseries about uh the whole Waco incident. I think I'm getting those two mixed up because that one Michael Shannon's like in the infancy of kind of like FBI negotiation tactics. Because back in the 90s, they were just big on just like murdering people. And he was kind of like trying to like prove the case that like now you can like, there's a psychology to like negotiating with people who are really in distress and threats to people. And
Waco.
Just, Waco. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Waco. That's a good series, by the way. Very good.
It's not that old either.
Nope. That's a good watch.
So there was that one. I watched part of Harley Quinn, which is on HBO Max.
And that's animation, right?
It is. And I wasn't going to watch it. I don't know. I'm kind of weird about animation. I can't really explain it. I don't know. Whatever. But it's funny and it's good. The girl from The Big Bang Theory. She's Harley Quinn. She's the voice actress for Harley Quinn. It's vulgar and bloody and not things you would expect from a cartoon.
I think I've seen like shorts on like YouTube or just somewhere out there, like the short form content of that show, because there's like one scene that's like pretty like kind of scandalous, like it's really provocative.
Yeah.
But it's a cartoon, and I'm pretty sure it was like Harley Quinn and like someone else, and I was like, what cartoon is this? Must be
pretty. Yeah, it's got to be, because I didn't get very far in that one, but what I did see was pretty enjoyable. I mean, she beat the crap out of some people with her sledgehammer. Very bloody, but anyway, yeah, it was pretty good. What else did I watch?
Is that on the bracket?
Yeah, it's number 4 in my division.
Dang,
I know,
sitting heavy.
Next on my list, I have not watched it yet, but I plan. That's my next one, is Slow Horses. And Fran would be happy. That. No, I did not.
What was the one that you watched recently? You said you watched like today, but it was like not what you thought it would be. Chris, what was Slow Horses?
I watched a trailer for it.
Okay, because Mike was like, just didn't give it a chance, or like something, or he didn't.
Do you know who's in that?
No.
Gary Oldman.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it about again?
So it's about like the place is called a slow house, SLOUGH. It's where all like the rejects of the MI6 go, you know.
Oh, that's funny.
To like where their careers go to die, you know.
Yeah. Where they're trying to send Daniel Craig.
Yeah. So he's like the boss, the big time boss or whatever, and he's like a drunk. Like he's drunk all the time and very negative and vulgar, and let's see. And they basically call them slow horses because that's where their career is going to die.
Yeah.
But then they kind of like pick up this case, and like they get involved in investigating some stuff that's happening in Britain. So
that sounds cool.
It sounds really interesting. Like,
what's that on?
Apple TV.
RIP. I need one of those.
So that's about it.
That's a pretty good spread there. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like you're
mean,
prepared. You're ready to win.
so like my unintentional goal for the bracket was to get something from every, not maybe not every, but a lot of different genres. So, I've got some
Right.
sci-fi stuff in there. I've got some funny. I got a cartoon. I've got detective shows. I've got a cowboy show. Um, a
I
superhero show.
I've only not seen 3 things, and one of those things my wife has watched. So I half count that as something I can at least like speak to or like rate in my mind.
Yeah.
But 2 of them I definitely just have not seen.
Wow, that's pretty good. Tulsa King
Tulsa King is one.
and don't tell me. 9 Perfect Strangers.
Nope, I watched that.
Ugh,
It's the one right below that.
Sweet Tooth. That
Yep.
was my next guess.
Yep. That's not
Nice.
bad. I didn't even realize. I didn't even do the math on that. And then Maid my wife has watched. So I've like seen that as I walk through the living room.
The one about the sweeper.
Yes. That show's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It deals a lot with like this single mom trying to like keep custody of her daughter.
Okay.
And like she's a maid and like that's like the way she makes money and
Right.
shit's not easy
Right.
when trying to keep custody of your kid, take care of your kid, work. So it's really heavy hitter in that department.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not an easy life.
I think her mom's like a piece of shit, all that. Like she's got like the full 9 yards working against her.
It's pretty rough.
Yep.
Nice emotional drama.
Yeah.
That's number 2 on your list.
I know. Very, very highly rated. But
I don't
think
know,
a little
man.
slept on.
I don't know.
Chernobyl's number 1. I'm glad we swapped that out for me.
Yeah.
That's a good ass show. It's about East Palestine. That'll be Chernobyl 2. I was just saying today to someone like, I mean, I don't know what land rates go for, but like buy up some land, see if there's any land for sale like right in around there. Like don't do anything with it, but like if it's dirt cheap, people trying to sell some land. You just need like a hazmat suit to go on it. Hunt some rabid deer, mutated deer.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard stuff.
Shouldn't be laughing. Ooh, and then it's The Last of Us.
Yep. You just need something like that, and like it's just a little warmer these days. I'm telling you, Fungus. It's gonna be real happy using us as hosts.
Chemicals and fungus.
Yep. There's gonna be some gnarly, like mushrooms growing around that place. The Last of Us Seasons 2 is actually gonna film there. Yep.
Yep.
Just gonna keep going on this. Or not. No. Should it make fun? Like, it's in our state, or Ohioans. We can make fun of anything we want.
It's true.
In our state.
True. And they have like a little interview at the beginning of the episode with Mike DeWine.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Poor guy. Poor us.
Poor us. You see Trump went down there?
Yeah, they were real happy to see him show up. He was like in a McDonald's buying people like make food.
McFood, yep.
Food.
McBarely food.
Yeah, someone was holding up a like a flag or whatever, but it was mostly a banner and it said something, Jesus is my savior and Trump is my president.
Okay.
Like I was like, that is the most. I don't know. That's just a rowdy combo to like put.
That's a
Like
really rowdy combo.
it was a very like it wasn't like cardboard sign. It was like a very nice like cloth banner type thing. I was
Oh
like,
wow.
that doesn't look. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look cheap. Like I wouldn't have spent the money to like get that made. Like who's making that? Like where's that coming from? It's just like falling out of the sky down there. He actually
Oh.
made it and handed it out. Maybe.
Will you hold this when I pass by?
Yeah. Here, hold this.
I'll
Don't
give
read
you
it.
I'll give you a McDouble.
Hold this. I'll give you a 10-piece and a McDouble. You want high C with that? Light ice
and a large McFry.
and a McFry. Yeah, just what a strange situation over there.
It's so
Just
weird.
50 miles away. We're downstream, but we're downstream, but also we're downwind. So bad to be downstream, bad to be upwind.
Yeah.
Or downwind. How does that
Down
work? Yeah, but
upwind.
the wind's going upwind, downwind. You don't want to be either downstream or downwind, do you?
No.
That's how that works.
Right. No.
Darn.
I guess we're all screwed.
Yep.
Ohio's about to be wiped off the map.
Yeah, but I think it's blowing like into Pennsylvania. The wind is going
Yeah.
that way, and the water is flowing this way. Like literally this way.
Yeah,
That's the way the
yeah.
watershed works.
Yep.
Poor Mississippi River gets the worst of everything.
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water. I was just thinking of that that meme Mike sent us earlier where it's Will Smith from I Am Legend. He's drinking the little coffee thing.
The water's fine.
He's got the absolutely disgusted face.
Oh man.
East Palestine.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, man.
The first time I saw one of those articles creep up, it was like Mike DeWine, whatever, East Palestine. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Like, I was thinking of like the West Bank, Palestine, like Middle East. I was like, what is going on? I'm like, oh,
why is Mike DeWine out there?
I'm like, what does he have to say about the Middle East? And then I was like, oh, that East Palestine, that one's really close. That makes more sense.
Oh man.
No bueno.
Well, there were a couple other incidents like that. Like there was one in Michigan and in Texas. The similar train wreck.
Oh yeah, afterwards.
I think Michigan was first, and then Ohio, and then Texas.
Train derailments, right? But not like the chemical problem.
I think the Michigan had like one car that had the chemicals in it.
Gotcha. Well, the thing is like right now, like this past weekend we were out and about. Like we went up north about an hour and like spent the night at the in-laws, and it was salt residue, but like it looked a little extra thick. And I was just like telling my wife, I'm like, look, it's that vinyl chloride stuff. It's on our car. She's like, no, it's salt, you idiot. And the thing is though, it just rained, right? So all the salt, it was 70 degrees today. All the salt should be gone. It rained, right? We're trending towards spring, right? So if they don't lay any more salt down and the cars keep looking like they got salt on them, then I'm gonna keep being suspicious of any funky residues on the car.
I mean, yeah, got funky white residue on cars. Never a good thing.
Yeah, in the summer, that's not salt, man.
No, that's not salt, bro.
Yeah, it'll blow over by then.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think. But I see that they're I think the government, they came in, like the Fed government, they came in and they're going to take over control of the cleanup.
Oh, are they testing? Or are they just cleaning up?
Just cleaning. No, I think they're
because
I don't know what they do. I don't keep track of what they do.
I don't think they're testing. Or they're not testing for the right stuff. Oh, yep, that's fine. It looks clear.
It's good. Clean it up.
It's good. Go home.
There's oil in there though too. It's technically an oil spill as well, I hear. which is also not good.
Nope. Well, all the videos I see, they're like poking sticks in the creek or whatever,
Hmm.
and all the chemicals come up to the surface. That's good. Go ahead and drink some of that.
Telling you, man, buy up some of that land around those creeks. Might be sketchy now, but you never know. Might be a good opportunity to get up some land.
You want to do some testing? You can rent on my land and do some testing.
You want to live here for cheap? Roll the dice at at some Last of Us situations.
Oh,
Be my guest.
yeah. Yep.
Hyper low rent rates.
Super low.
Just drop like.
Well, you know, I mean, buying a house right now is kind of difficult.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know, I think we got a good plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, not everyone needs 1,000 square feet for $500,000. You know, maybe they want 5 million square feet for $100,000.
Let's do 90,000.
90,000.
I think
Come a
that's-
deal.
I think that's fair.
Big living. Get a warehouse down there. See, wouldn't that be cool though? So like, okay, so let's just say it is like in a place like that is like very hazardous to like live and exist in.
Yeah.
But you do, so like what we were talking about earlier, buy up some land, put like a warehouse there, or actually just find a warehouse in that area. I'm sure there is one,
Oh yeah.
and convert it to like some sort of like cool, not park, but like
Entertainment facility.
yeah, like you're geared up properly where it's not a problem. You sign the form and like you play like paintball or some sort of like war games and like make it like a destination thing for hobbyists and those types of things.
Like
a survival, a real life survival game.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. Or like a Civil War reenactment.
Yeah, except like I'm thinking in this theory, like you need some like certain protection from like the actual hazardous environment.
So maybe like a futuristic, like post-apocalyptic.
Yep. Basically a post-apocalyptic simulation.
Yeah, but
survival mode.
For real.
But for real. But with like bumper.
Don't take off your suit or you will die.
Yeah, or
Keep your suit on.
If you do take off your suit, just like take this pill and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, technically, they have all those precautions, or precautions like that for people who work in nuclear plants and like mess with all this stuff. They have like, I think they have like pills that like help offset the. It's probably not healthy in the long term, but just saying.
It'll help you for now.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to think of ways to monetize a disaster. That's all.
I got a great idea. We take them clean water.
So vitamin water.
Vitamin water. So we heard your water's no good. Here's a bottle of water.
We don't want another Flint situation. So the water's fine.
The water's fine.
The water's fine. See, as long as it's clear, they can get away with that, right? Because if it's clear and looks right, smells right. I think in Flint, the issue was like it did not smell or look right.
It doesn't smell right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it still doesn't.
East Palestine.
Oh, it doesn't?
How
do you know that?
From stuff I've said I've seen stuff I've said.
So it's got a funk to it.
Yeah, it's got like a chemical smell.
That's not good.
No. But it's safe.
Like like coming out of the taps?
Just in the air. Like the air smells. I mean, the water probably smells too, but they probably the smell in the air is probably so strong still. They can't smell anything else.
I mean, you know the asphalt plant right next to 77 between the airport and Belden?
Yeah.
Like I even think about that. Like the air smells like asphalt sometimes, like heavily in that area. Like that can't necessarily be good for people that live there, or that giant like refinery that's off of 62 down in like Canton South. on the way to Maslin.
Mhm.
Like the air in that around that place just smells, and there's houses like all around
Yeah.
there. Like I've never not smelled the air around that thing like clean to be
Right.
like not have a smell to it. So that can't be good.
No,
Like I don't know what to
definitely
tell
not
you.
good.
Yeah, like you can test all you want. Like in my opinion, that just doesn't seem like it would be right. You can't convince me that breathing that all the time,
Oh,
smelling that all the time
there's
is
no
fine.
way. There's no way that's fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's what's fine. I mean, not really fine, but you could live from this. So in Minerva, there's a dairy plant, and they have their own waste disposal system.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been several cases where the entire town smells like like really bad rotten cheese or whatever.
Mm.
So like someone took a dump on the city.
Yeah.
Like, sure, that's terrible, but I'm not gonna die from it.
Right.
But it's
True.
that the odor is so strong. But like on the flip side, you have this chemical odor that could probably kill you in 20 years.
Yeah, I guess that's like the 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 thing to work out there is like a rotten cheese smell, like rotten food. Like
Mhm.
we accept that to some degree as okay because it's organic mostly, right?
Right.
It's we otherwise eat it, like it happens in our fridge.
Yeah.
So but it doesn't change the fact that there's like particles in the air that are not normal.
Sure.
So are chemicals in the air that are not normally in the air necessarily bad for you, just like the cheese smell, just because they are foreign. Now, probably these Palestine situation, you could probably say, yeah, you should not probably be breathing in or smelling the vinyl chloride. There's a third word in there.
I think that's basically it.
Yeah, but there's something on Joe Rogan. They're talking about like it's vinyl chloride, but there's this guy on YouTube that really breaks it down, and there's like a third word in there that's important when people are like talking about this stuff. So you're talking about chemicals and byproducts and all that crap. It gets real technical real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's oil in
Monochloride,
there.
chloroethylene, chloroethylene, and ethylene monochloride.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around like the difference between monochloride and a different type of chloride. There's like all these like prefixes that are important to these words.
Oh. Being exposed to vinyl chloride can affect a person's liver, kidney, lung, spleen, nervous system, and blood. So basically everything.
Yeah, that's kind of like the side of a pill bottle. Like you might die from this, but it'll cure your anxiety.
Yeah.
But now I have anxiety about what I'm taking. Or do I? That's a lot of things. The nervous system ones, like I can always get a new like most of those other parts, but a new nervous system, I don't think I can get a new one of those yet.
Yeah. I mean, you could get blood transfusions, but like,
yeah, but once like nerves
It's
die,
in-
they're dead.
oh yeah, you're
Like that's like losing all the wiring
yeah.
in something. You have to like take it completely apart to put it back in. Like I don't think they're equipped to rewire our nervous systems yet.
No, I don't. There's no way. That's insane. I didn't know all that.
It'll be okay. This is fine. This is fine. It is fine in East Palestine.
Yes.
Okay.
All
We're
is
done
good.
with that.
We're done with that.
We're done. We're sorry.
Rabbit hole. Done.
We avoid the Mr. Robot one. That's the accomplishment. So we had to like veer off onto something.
We did good.
Yeah.
And it's relevant. It's
It
a
is.
relevant topic that people are concerned about. People care about this stuff.
Yeah, and more topical for us is when is the documentary, the docu-series,
And the podcast.
the
The True
podcast.
Crime Podcast.
Exactly. Like, when are all the money makers going to spin off here, and we're going to get some? I want the do they still have that on HBO? They used to have Vice, the Vice specials, which are really cool. They might not have them anymore because
I
Vice
don't know.
broke off into its own like channel and stuff. They got so big.
Yeah.
But they had like Vice special reports,
Mm-hmm.
and they told the craziest stories from like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, there's this train in India that just, I don't want to call them feral, but like these what's the word? Children that don't have like parents, they're like orphans. This like like these orphans just ride this train
Oh man.
or something to that effect, and like tons of them, like weird stories like that. So I feel like when is the special report from a streaming service going to come out? When is the dramatized version of it going to come out? And when is like the docu-series?
When are we going to start
come out?
seeing the mutated people come out?
Yeah, that too. When is Chernobyl 2 come out? That's the big question we started with.
The birth of Swamp Thing.
Ooh, is this swampy down there, or is that too far south? That's too hilly up there. Swamp is like a little north of there, like by like Warren, because I grew up north of Warren even, and it's swamp.
Okay.
In like Trumbull County.
See, I'm not sure. It just sounded good in my head.
I think it gets a little hilly down there.
Okay.
Oh well, I think that's everything you've been watching. Yeah.
What?
That's everything you've been watching, right? You went through all your watchings.
Yep. That's all my watchings.
Yeah. Watch Mr. Robot. That was a thing that I did that consumed all my evenings.
Yep, same.
Season of week's rough. I'm just going to like through the March Madness, watch these shows like as we talk about them. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Maybe if there are like some key matchups that I need to get like spruced up on, maybe I'll do your tactic and just do like a couple episodes.
Or do like if you don't care about it, just watch like a season 1 recap on YouTube or something.
This is true.
I thought about doing that for some of them just so I know what it's about. Like just have
a
rough idea so I can at least say something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I plan on doing that with some of those on my list. And then round 2, I'll watch a little bit more just so I'm fresh. And then I'll probably start watching some of your guys' shows in round 2 just so I just so I'm prepared, you know?
Yeah.
Just so I can debate stronger.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we're not kind of like debating into a vacuum.
Right. I mean, your debate, like if you're only debating your side, but you have no idea what they're debating, there's no counter argument.
Well, did we decide on the whole pick 3 for the final 4 argument and then pick a new 3?
I don't know.
For the final? Because that would be important to know which ones to use against.
Yeah.
The opponent show. Like that's where that's a cool mechanic. I like that mechanic.
We'll have to get that, like all the details figured out for sure. But I think that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, luckily that stuff doesn't kick in until later in March. We still got like round 1 and 2 hefts to move through in the Sweet 16. Those are just going to be biggins. Lots to talk about there. I'm worried about round 2, honestly.
Really?
Round 2 is going to get tough, I think, really fast. And then round 4, and then Sweet 16 is just going to be sad.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of shows, good shows that get axed. Hard decisions will be made.
Yes. It's going to be tough for sure. Like that's where you have to separate emotion from winning. You just have to win. You have to take your best. You can't be attached to it. You know, just got to sever that tie.
Yeah. Or I'll take a page out of my toddler's book and just like all emotion and I will win. just pure unbridled rage.
Yeah. I mean,
I will it.
I guess that works for some people. Who knows? Maybe that will get you to win.
Yeah, you just have to convince two of you, up until through the Sweet 16 to do that.
That's true.
You just got to instill that passion, be like, this is the one that should win because that's how we feel about it.
Because I say so.
Because yes. Because that will make my matchup later easier.
Right? It's all about it's like a game of chess. You're preparing 5 moves ahead of yourself from where you're at.
Yep.
Or in this case, 3.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to try not to undermine each other on like the votes, like up until the order of the rounds won't have that problem. Sweet 16 might get a little strategic. That might get weird.
Yeah.
But that is why the polls will be a little bit of a control factor there. So we don't try to really sabotage each other. Because if we just tie, the poll will take the win. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it. Very excited for this tournament to kick off next Thursday at 9 p.m. As always. It's gonna be good.
Please join us for the amazing
vote in the poll for your
craziness.
winners for round 1. Tune in, yell with us, or be logical with us.
Or emotional.
Yeah, as we deliberate the winners of round 1.
All right.
Other than that, I think I'm sleepy. Maybe I'll go to bed. Maybe I'll play Age of Empires. Maybe I'll watch Dragon Ball. That's really my only options.
I'm probably just gonna go to bed.
You seem better at that than me.
It's just lights out. I'm done.
Yeah, I should take a page out of your book there. Anyway, yeah, so all March Madness. That's all we're doing. So tune in.
So excited.
Join us. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. Chad and Mike will be back next week. And hopefully with us, we'll all 4 be here all March. It's gonna be a big deal. And we do have brackets you can fill out if you would like to partake at that level. We have, if no one fills out a bracket, there's much of a contest. But people fill out brackets, and we will have a perfect bracket contest.
Yes.
Completely random too. I don't know how. I'm. At least we should try to fill out a perfect bracket. I don't know if that's skewed at all. Yeah.
We should.
I don't think so. Yeah, just to see who wins. Yeah. Take some guesses. I just don't want that to skew our strive for the perfect bracket. But it can't. One of us can't skew it because the way the rules are set up. So I think we're safe.
I think so.
We'll think about it. Anyway. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. As always, we appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Yeah.
That's what you've been saying on your streams. That's how you end it.
Yeah.
And then you just abruptly. If we don't hit 1,000 subs, I'm just gonna have to give that OLED to my son when he's old enough, right? He's 3 now, so what's the age for an OLED these days?
350.
No, the age.
Oh, the age? 350.
3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
All right, we have 6 months to get this thing away, or we're gonna unbox it and give it to my son.
That's awesome.
He's gonna
He's gonna be a really happy boy.
yeah, good for him.
Good for him.